Me press play. Look, menu appear. Me press new game. Ooh, gameplay. Fun. Me play game. Me do things. Okay, me time to go. Me press save game and... Don't get me wrong, Unity is a great engine. It really is. But doing certain things in it is such a massive pain in the ass. Like, for example, saving your game. The proper name for it is serialization. It means to take whatever game data exists in the RAM and write it into a file, so that you can then deserialize it and get the state of your program back. Sounds simple? Well, not in Unity. Unfortunately, you can't just save a running Unity scene and its state with all the components, scripts and stuff like that. At least not out of the box. The closest thing we get from Unity itself is something called player prefs, but that's only really good for small things like single numbers or strings. What I need is a proper save file. A file that you can access, move around and maybe even modify. So now comes the question, what kind of file? If you want to serialize some data into a file, there are two main ways to do it, binary and text. A binary file is basically the raw, non-human readable data. It's very fast, and the files can be small, but when you open one it looks like a letter from Zalgo. Compare this to how another strategy game and the digital equivalent of crack cocaine, Stellaris, does it. When you open a Stellaris save game, you can actually read the file, provided you know the syntax. This is text serialization, and as you can see, you can quite easily read and modify these kind of saves. Hell, you could even write one from scratch if you wanted to. So, I decided to go with the text option, and more specifically with making a JSON file. It's just one of the many ways of formatting save files, and as far as I can tell, it's the most popular one. We even have something called JSON utility in Unity, which can convert a class into a JSON string. Yay! But it actually kinda sucks and can't handle even simple stuff like dictionaries. Boo. If we want to do some big boy JSON serialization, we need to use this package from Newtonsoft, called JSON.net. It can actually handle the dictionaries and has some neat built-in ways to customize how the data is handled. By default it chokes and dies on some simple Unity types, but that can be fixed quite easily. However, even with this, I can't just call save on everything in the game and have a perfect JSON representation of it. I need to select what I want to save and have some logic about how and when I save it. So with that in mind, this is how I implemented saving in my game. When you press save, the save button calls the serialization service, which creates a folder for the save file. It first serializes the ACS world containing all the people because that can be done all at once, although it still sometimes crashes, but that's fine. Then we get to creating the JSON stuff. I don't serialize the actual classes I want, but instead extract a nested objects dictionary that contains all the properties I want to save, saved by name, and is obtained by a reflection from this custom save attribute in classes without implement this iSaveable interface. First I serialize all the services which are regular C# classes that handle most of the game logic, which are pretty straightforward, and then I move on to the devlog, that is the map data. Because in the map there's a cell marker which has a reference to the cell master, which has a reference to the cell building, so I serialize this chain of things and then save them in this dictionary where the key is the position of the cell. Also I save the city name too, because that's a thing now. Now when I load the game I go into the deserialization service and open the ACS data in this bizarre way because that's how you do it apparently, and after that I go to the JSON, extract and call the load method, which can then handle the assigning of the data back or calling the next in-chain load of the map cell stack with some custom logic. And it's that easy. It only took me 3 versions and like a month total to get it to this state. I even used ChatGPT for the first time once to help me with some Newtonsoft syntax, but the code it gave me caused a hard Unity editor crash. So now at least I know that my job is secure for some more time. After all the trials and tribulations and mental health loss, I now have this beautiful save file that I sometimes just open and stare at to bask in its beauty. Also, I didn't realize that you don't need to do any of this to easily serialize stuff in Godot, and I start to question my engine choices again. That's it for today. Like, comment and subscribe for more devlogs, check out the last one, and see you in the next one.